What's up, Frost Bros? Welcome back to How to Elder Scrolls. Of course, this here is my series where I am doing all the different classes in Arena and at least reviewing them, and of course, showing my thoughts on them, and of course, testing and showing how to actually play each class. And today, we are, of course, reviewing the Assassin. But without further ado, grab yourself a cup of coffee, get nice and relaxed, and let's get on with it. So the Assassin is the third in the list, as you can see, and its experience table is C rank, the same as the Acrobat, meaning you get about moderate XP gain, which is literally middle down the road. However, your health pool is a D8, which is the lowest out of all the health pools out of all the health pools of all the different classes we've reviewed so far. However, D8 isn't necessarily the lowest, but it is pretty low. So keep an eye on your health. It is still lower than the Acrobat, and you all saw how much I struggled with playing the Acrobat class. However, assassins do get access to every single weapon, which is pretty nice. It basically means you are spoiled with choice in what you get to use, just like the archer. And of course, you can wear up to only leather armor, which is pretty crummy, but honestly not the worst option you could have when it comes to armor. Leather is better than nothing. You cannot use any shields, sadly, and your thieving efficiency is only 40%, which is 10% less than the Acrobat. So honestly, the Assassin isn't going to steal much of anything. You don't get any spell points, and you have a critical strike chance of 3% per level. However, unlike with the Archer that got 3% per level with all range classes or all missile weapons, the Assassin gets 3% per level with all melee weapons. Oh, and of course you start with a short sword, though that's barely relevant since you can just pick up any weapon. Yeah, so as you can see, okay, so as you can see, the Assassin levels up moderately quickly, and of course, if I just click on this, there we go. As you can see, the critical strike chance you get only applies with melee weapons, where with the archer it was with missile weapons. And of course, assassins are a thief archetype under the thieves category, and assassins are the dark hand of the night, their skills honed to the killing of others, and are very adept at this, able to find weak points or areas to strike, often feeling opponents much uh, often feeling opponents much more powerful than themselves. Assassins have the greatest chance per level to score a critical hit, 3 times damage when attacking. Because of their training, assassins have a wide variety of weapons from which to pick. Because of their need for stealth, they are not allowed to wear armor greater than leather or allowed to use shields. And of course, you can't really sneak in Arena, so the whole stealth mechanic option is more just flavor text, and it kind of just makes assassins a little more on the weaker end. It makes them a bit of a glass cannon. A melee glass cannon, but a glass cannon nonetheless. Now, your advantages. You possess a 3% plus 3% critical strike chance per level. That is pretty neat. And of course, you can use any weapon type. Also pretty neat. And of course, increased chance for pickpocket and lockpicking success, 40% thievery efficiency. Not bad. Or actually, that's pickpocket and lockpick. Yeah, still. Not bad, but honestly, not the best. I mean, we even seen what the Acrobat is like with this. It's not really all that great, but Still gets the job done every now and then. You just want to level up a bit more as the assassin if you're going to go steal. Now, disadvantages. Relatively lower chance for pickpocket and lockpicking success compared to other thief classes. Yeah. And of course, second lowest potential health points gained among all classes. Yeah, like, you don't have very much health at all. And of course, you can only equip leather armor, and you cannot use shields. So basically, you are literally just a glass cannon. Now, Assassin's primary strength is in powerful and efficient physical combat. Assassins possess the highest possible critical strike chance out of any class, and unlike the similar bonus archers have, this applies to all weapon types. This means you have a 30% chance to critically strike with each hit from any weapon by level 10, and a 60% chance by level 20, which can add up and make short work of enemies. Yeah, you can tear through enemies pretty quickly in the higher levels. It's just you want to tear through them as soon as they're on screen. Um, In contrast to their offensive capabilities, assassins are quite weak defensively, only able to wear leather armor, no shields, and low potential health points. And of course, as with all thieves, assassins greatly benefit from enchanted items and potions that supplement their innately weak defenses. So yeah, load up on potions and magic items as much as you can. And of course, the manual incorrectly states that assassins possess a D12 health point dice. And you know, it's funny. I think it's actually the other way around. Like, if I remember correctly, acrobats are supposed to actually have a D8, but they actually have a D12 in game, and assassins are supposed to have a D12, but they have a D8 in game. So I wonder if acrobats and assassins are like flip-flopped in that case. And honestly, I don't think the health increase would have actually done much more. But anyways, that's just enough rambling. There's nothing else we can really figure out. There's nothing more we can review here on the UESP, so we may as well just hop in game and make an assassin for ourselves and see how we do. Alright, and here we are in character creation. Time to select our class. And of course, we're going to select Assassin, the third in the list. And of course, we're going to need a good name for our assassin. Now, of course, there's plenty of names we could do that would be very fitting. Though, honestly, I think only one name is better than most, in my opinion. Yeah, so from where dost thou hail? Well, I think we could actually run Valenwood. You know, I think we can run a Bosmer today. I'm feeling confident. I feel like a Bosmer might actually do some good. So that was chosen Valenwood, home of the Bosmer, because of course Bosmer gets some pretty good attribute increases for being an assassin, because you want to have high agility and speed, and of course some decent endurance. Though endurance is definitely lower for Bosmer, so we do want to do some rerolls. But as you can see, we already have a pretty high everything else. So yeah, endurance is going to be tough to figure out, but hey, we can always just grab the Augma Infinium to mess with that more. And look at that. That is possibly the luckiest roll ever. Honestly, we should be perfectly fine with a 50 endurance. I'm going to do 55 endurance just to be more safe. And let's see here. We of course want to have, you know, the rest is going into agility, because we want to be able to hit our opponent as often as possible and be able to dodge our opponent as often as possible. Damage is of course pretty good for an assassin, but honestly, you really want to land your hits more than do more damage on your hits, because that's more important, you know, like if you have high damage and you can't hit your opponent, then something's wrong, you know, like, and I feel like This here could be our good face for today.
Do not fear.
And of course, here we are in the game as an assassin. We're going to, of course, get our short sword out. That is one short sword. And of course, we're just going to run through the game like usual and see how the game plays for a bit. We'll also hand out pointers if I see them. Because of course, this is going to be a while of just going through all the classes. But anyways, we're going to, of course, need to do our little thing with the loot pile. So let's drop a save and see what kind of stuff we get. Okay, this pile seems a little more promising. We got a katana and a belt. Belts, of course, provide some good armor. This one's only -1 though. But you know, +5 on all my armor shenanigans is better than nothing. And I mean, the katana is definitely a good upgrade. I feel like we shouldn't, I feel like not sitting here for too long, save scumming until we get better loot. Like, I could probably get like an ebony torque if I really wanted to from that loot pile, but honestly, I don't want to be here all day, so I'll just take what we got. And now, of course, we can just run through and... Oh! What do you know? I think I actually hear a goblin on this side, but I don't see him. Oh, there we go. Yep, and of course this here is going to be how combat is, just in general. So even goblins are going to kick her butt, at least in the first stage. We don't really have all that much health. But of course we can still rip and tear through some enemies with relative ease. And maybe, just maybe, we can rest up. Or not. You see, the game does like to do this to me. Every now and then. But hey, we can just continue on our merry way. Should eventually find a niche where we can rest. And if not, then hopefully we can escape this dungeon before... Oh, got rats on us. Please tell me I don't die to rats. Oh lord, I need health, like now. Yeah, so we're dying very quickly, as you can see already. We only have 2 hit points now. That's fine, we should be able to get out of here without dying. Hopefully. We can run pretty fast. And die pretty fast. Yes, I know. With me died. Anyways. Of course you have to go through this whole loading screen fiasco as you load back in. But hey, it is what it is. You live, you die, you... That was weird. My game actually started to freeze up on me for a second. Yeah, but as you can see, if you're quick enough with your reflexes, you can save a lot of health. And I guess we can grab a bit of gold. It's not like it's that important because, well, we could probably just pick pockets anyways to get some gold that way, or, you know, loot homes and probably just kill people on the streets, you know. Go full-blown Sithis mode, like the assassin we are. And of course, rats are going to be the death of me if I'm not careful. But as you can see, if you actually play your cards right, you can actually get by with some decent health. You just have to know how to, move around faster, and we just got a level of experience. That's a 6th level, too. Nice. You know, this seems to be a bit of an issue. Like, I'm getting like this weird black platform that I'm standing on. I've noticed it a few times. I'm not sure what that's all about. But yeah, we can also throw, I guess, a bit of points into strength. I know I said we shouldn't be messing with strength all that often, but we have just enough to get up there, and honestly, a +5 to hit and defend is more than enough for a bit. Yeah, and we got 34 health to mess with. Definitely want to mess with the endurance after a while. Maybe we can see if we can level scum here for a bit. You know, see how well our chances are, because of course this shift gate seems to be a somewhat decent place for grinding XP. As long as you don't get human enemies like this, we're dead. Well, yeah, I was just thinking, hey, if a human spawns, this is probably the death of us. And I mean, they do spawn.
With you died our last hope for justice.
That was very fast. Yeah, so you definitely want to get some good potions very early in the game. And some good magic items too. Wow, really? Well, we continued the quest.
It is said that Fang.
So now we know where Fang Lair is, or that we're supposed to get to Fang Lair at least. And it seems like we're not going to get many enemies out. Well, that's fine. I guess we can just head through the shift gate then. It's only 9 in the morning. Alright. And I guess it looks like there's a mage's guild here, so that's awfully convenient. So, here. You know, we're going to take our chances. Let's see what kind of magic items we can swindle, if possible. If we could. If we can't, then so be it. But honestly, since we're an assassin, we'll probably have a better chance at actually getting guards, taking out guards, so we'd probably be better off, actually. But yeah, you can see that Mage's Guilds, like, magic items definitely have a steep price. A Mark of Opening is definitely nice if you don't want to mess with locked doors. Mithril bracelets, like, look at this, Torque of Intelligence. That, like, these items would be decent if you want to play a magic user. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some serious magic items there. And I mean, potions, like, you definitely want to have as many healing potions as possible, especially as an assassin. You would definitely want to have all the elemental resistance potions just constantly stacked up, especially the cure disease potions. Like, you basically want to have a whole apothecary in your inventory. And it's not even that you'd be an assassin stealing. Oh, you'd be like an assassin. Oh, unsuccessful. Alright, let's see how well we can handle guards. Did my game just freeze? Apparently my laptop couldn't even handle the guards. Great. Okay, well, we're back here in front of the Mage's Guild from our last save. I guess we can try this again. Hopefully our game doesn't crash this time, but hey, maybe we could actually take out some of the guards this time. So yeah, let's try to grab a magic item because they're better, but honestly unsuccessful. Of course we have knights. These guys are, yeah, we're definitely dead here. Yeah, so knights are the toughest of all of the NPCs that you could possibly fight, of all the different guard types you could fight. And if I remember correctly, you should be able to just, oh, yep, got guards after us. What kind? It won't, okay. Yeah, by the time we can turn around, we're dead.
With you died.
So yeah, in the early game, it's definitely going to be bad. You definitely want to get a bow early game. Um, Definitely a good weapon. Perhaps some good magic items for defense. But hey, there's an equipment store. Maybe we can get some good stuff from here. Maybe we can get a good deal. In fact, here, if you know what, I want to test something because I guess I can try to pilfer one of these guys.
No, thief.
Yeah, as you can see, that's going to alert the guards. But it doesn't matter because this game doesn't have a proper bounty system. Just guards will spawn in and chase you and kill you very quickly. Holy crap. Yeah, so, however, it seems like if I try to do it in a city, we get caught. But I do remember with our acrobat, if we do it out of the city, we weren't really getting caught. So let's try it out here.
No,
Oh,
thief.
okay, we still get caught. So maybe there's a certain threshold where the game just stops having everything. In fact, I can actually hold the arrows so that way I can do this. Yeah. Yeah, this is not going well. Okay.
With you.
Yeah, so enemies will definitely tear you to shreds very quickly as an assassin. So defensively, you're screwed. But hey, maybe we could do something about it. Maybe we could get a bit of defense. We can at least break inside a building. And I mean, pilfering homes usually gets you a bit of quick loot with weaker enemies. Usually leveled enemies. Sometimes just lizardmen. It's not like you really find many loot piles or anything, but I mean, not as often. I remember finding some loot piles in some homes. But, you know, this could be a bit of gameplay for you if you try to go assassin. Trying to just break into houses, see what you can find. Though usually for just... Honestly, it's kind of funny. Breaking into homes gets you basically nothing, but when you break into the random wild dungeons out in the middle of nowhere, it usually gets you a lot of loot. I guess it kind of just sends a message of, like, crime doesn't pay. Because it definitely does not pay off in Arena. At least not in the early game for a lot of different classes. Basically most of the classes, really. However, you could probably still get... Tell you what. I guess we can at least try and see how far we could at least get in the starting dungeon. So let's go ahead and head to Rehad. You know, go to the first dungeon. We're of course going to need to pick up some leather armor. It is night. That is terrifying and terrible. Because nighttime means tons of enemies come out. And they really want you dead. So we're going to need to find an inn to just run into. We must, of course, get a room. I wonder if we can just sneak into a room. Yeah, let's sneak into... Oh.
No, thief.
Great. Okay. Yeah. Oh, we're actually doing some good progress here. No, never mind. Yeah, so... you don't really do a lot of damage, honestly. like, I guess you really have to level up a bunch to actually do more damage. Because, I mean, this katana ain't doing anything. But yeah, of course, it would definitely be better in higher levels. Because currently I'm only level 2, so it's like a 6% chance every time I hit someone that it would do 3 times damage. Which, I mean, 3 times damage is not something to bat an eye at, it's just not really good. Back here, let's go ahead and sell our short sword. And then I guess let's see what kind of armor we can get. You know, we can get some basic leather. Let's at least get a cuirass. I'm going to try and haggle down to maybe 21. Maybe 20? Can I try 20? You just bought yourself the You just bought yourself the best damn leather cuirass on the side of the continent. Okay, cool. Alright, so leather cuirass, I bought that for 20. Nice. I know that the gauntlets is second best. Because second highest hit chance, I guess. Let me go ahead and... Uh-oh. There we go. I guess if I try to haggle down to 12? 11? Alright, nice. So I can haggle 15 down to 11, which is good. So, let's go ahead and get the pants. Let's see, about 16? 15? 14? 15? Yay, I bought that for 15 gold, nice. Alright, helmet. We're of course going to get this for 15 gold. He's going to say 17, I'm going to say 15. He's going to say 16, I'm going to say 15. And we're of course going to buy the boots for 11 gold. Can I buy it for 10? Nope, only 11. Alright, now the pauldrons. And yeah. So we just cheaped out on all this armor, it looks like, so it does seem like you can at least get a full starting set of leather for barely much. So at least there's hope there. Now let's look at ourselves getting a good weapon. Because like flails are decent, broadswords is not bad. We might want to get a short bow just so we have a ranged option. Seems like this shop just doesn't have much, honestly. You do want to get like maybe a great axe to really do some good damage. Let's see, about 7. For 8. Okay, I can haggle down to 8. Alright, nice. We just got some good equipment at least. Some decent equipment, I should say. This will bring us down to +1 on all armor rating areas, so you know, that means enemies deal an extra 1 point of damage to us. But that should be fine. And yeah, a short bow just to have as have a ranged option. You know, we wouldn't really get the bonus with it, I don't think. Wouldn't make sense for us to get the bonus with it. Because it seems like the whole thing about assassins is they're really good in melee. But, you know, just to have the ranged option. That's just about it, you know. But hey, at least we got some good equipment for cheap. Maybe we can actually do a little bit more here. So tell you what, we're going to actually go to Rahad then, right now, and hopefully it's not nighttime by the time we arrive. It's nighttime by the time we arrive, okay. Yikes. Well, let's see if there's an inn around here. No, I found an inn not too long ago, but like, let's find a different inn, see how many inns there are nearby. Ooh, it seems like this side doesn't really lead to an inn very quickly. Lights usually means there's an inn though, so, oh no, that's not an inn. Oh boy. I mean, I guess at least enemies will spawn so we can get some XP that way, but like, you know, we aren't exactly the best combatively as an assassin. Which, you know, you wouldn't expect because assassins are like assassins, you know. But hey, it is what it is. I guess we can get a room for the night. You know, just buy one, because, like... Alright, so we'll just take a single for a day. We're going to counter that down to 7, 8. Alright, well, we managed to get a room for only 8 gold. It's currently 8:55 in the evening. Great, okay. And now it's in the morning. Alright, well, anywho, maybe now we can go speak to old Blue Bumpka and see about going to, not Fang Lair, but Stone Keep to see if we can maybe do some decent damage and get some decent gear that way. Because honestly, it doesn't seem like our chances are too great as an assassin. You know, funnily enough, I think I could probably kill a bunch of people on the way to Blue Bumpka's palace, and I could probably get some gold that way. And I could, of course, evade guards while I'm doing it. So tell you what, we're actually going to give that a shot. Let's see how good we can be a unsanctioned assassin. Oh, we just got some gold, but we got detected, so we're going to need to continue running. And we should be able to evade the guards by just going into the palace. And honestly, I don't want to turn around because there might be a knight behind me. Because, of course, knights do like to spawn as guards, and they are, of course, very tough. But you can evade them. You can just run right away from them. Oh, and we're dead.
With you.
They caught up. Oh well. Yeah, so turns out the guards are very fast, so you have to be even faster. But we did get a little bit of gold doing that.
Oh.
Yep, there's knights. Okay. We gotta run through the streets now. Maybe we can actually lose the guards this way. Yeah, look at that. We got people on the streets again. That usually happens only when you lose the guards. Because all the people will disappear when the guards appear. And it is actually very hard to catch the peasantry, so honestly not the fastest way to get gold. Though it is more consistent, at least.
Oh.
And yeah, their bodies disappeared basically immediately. Okay. And yeah, we're gonna have to lose these guards somehow. Maybe we can take them through this alleyway, and then loop around. Hopefully that caught him off guard. Pun intended. And maybe, just maybe, the palace is this way. Nope, it's not this way. That's the city gate. We have to be getting close to it. Yeah. Oh lord, the guards are actually catching up and attacking us. Great. Can we lose them this way? Holy crap, we actually lost them. Did we? Huh. Well, yeah, I mean, it does seem like you get torn to shreds very quickly by those guards, so yeah, I guess it is the far south that the palace is on. Yep, it's far south, okay. Yeah, so I guess let's head south.
Oh.
Uh-oh, death.
With you died our...
Yeah, so, alright, noted. So even if you try to be an unsanctioned assassin, it's not going to be too easy for you because guards are really quick, they can tear you to shreds in seconds, and no, you aren't strong enough to deal with them. Not in the early game. Maybe in the later game, but definitely not in the early game. Yeah, it does seem like this game is a lot more prep heavy when it comes to some of these classes, because of course, oh wow, this guy has a lot more weapons, huh? Or has a bunch more weapons to choose from. Does seem like it's more prep heavy, since you honestly need to... Oop, let's not buy the longbow. Let's see what other weapons this guy has. Because of course you need some really good weapons to actually do any real damage. Claymore Katana. The Dai Katana is probably stronger, so I'm going to actually take that. And I'm going to get it for, oh, let's say 35 gold. 36. 37. Oh, 37 works. So yeah, let's see if we can get this Dai Katana for 37 gold. We can. Nice. Alright. Now let's look at our new katana. So as you can see, this weapon here, this weapon here does 3 to 16 damage every hit, the katana, which of course is pretty decent when tripled. And of course this weapon here, the Dai Katana, does 3 to 21. And funnily enough, it seems like both have the exact same sprite. Huh. Though the Dai Katana is definitely a lot stronger than the regular katana. Or at least a little bit stronger, but still. So yeah, we're going to sell the old katana for 17 gold. And we're just going to go on our merry way. Because honestly, I don't think our chances for stealing is going to be high enough to actually get anything of value from that blacksmith. And of course the guards absolutely tear us to shreds. Which, you know, is kind of ironic when you think of an assassin, you know, like usually you would think of the assassins from Assassin's Creed, who can tear through guards very quickly. Oh, but assassins in Arena get torn to shreds by the guards very quickly instead. So, yeah. Very glass cannon. But hey, maybe things will be different in Stonekeep. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves the first quest. We're of course going to accept it, and of course we're just going to check out Stonekeep right quick. And basically I'm going to see how well we can handle a real dungeon. And of course, just see how well this class can handle a real dungeon. And then, of course, I'll give my review after we raid Stonekeep for a bit. So, let's go ahead and head out. Right on over. And let's just see how well we can actually handle some of these enemies. Because, of course, these enemies tore me to shreds when I brought my acrobat. And were pretty annoying when I brought my archer. So let's see how well I can deal with them as an assassin. A character designed specifically for killing. Maybe I can actually survive. Ooh, an amulet. Well, we just got an upgrade. Wow, -1 AR across the board. That's a huge upgrade. So now enemies deal 1 less point of damage to us every time they hit us. Alright, now let's see how well we can deal with wolves. Wow, that was very close, but we got to level 3 and only got a 3-point level up. Okay, that sucks. But hey, we can throw it into agility. And honestly, I don't care about saves coming to get better levels, because we're just doing a little review. Now let's see how well we can rest in this room. Of course we can rest in old rooms like this. And as you can see, resting for some of these classes really takes a long time. 32 hours. Good lord. That's over a day of just taking a nap to fully recover. Alright, well, anyways, I guess we should be fine as are. Let's go ahead and jump into this room. See how well we can deal with some skeletons. Because, of course, some skeletons will appear here. And they absolutely deal some serious damage. Good lord. Like, look at that. We're almost dead already. Like, yeah, so... And, of course, there's more skeletons. Alright. Well, it seems like you can definitely die very quickly. And of course, we got more skeletons. We're probably going to die very quickly. Okay. So noted. Some of the lower enemies, we can deal with them. Some of the higher tier enemies, we definitely need to level up a bit more before we can actually face them. You definitely need to grind for getting a bunch more. You definitely need to grind to get more defensive capabilities like the acrobat in order to actually survive any real encounter. Like, the assassin here dies way too quickly in the early game, in my opinion. In fact, I guess now we can wrap things up, start giving out my review. So, the assassin class, how would I rate it? Honestly, I would rate it about a 7 out of 10. It's not the worst class I've done. I mean, it can definitely tear through enemies pretty quickly, and it is nice that you can use any weapon type, though honestly, it's almost as bad as one of the other trap classes. I mean, seriously, it's funny, because the acrobat is actually a direct upgrade from from a thief trap class, and the assassin is a direct upgrade from one of the fighter trap classes. In fact, I think, yeah, there's actually a trap class for every archetype. But hey, I'll review the trap classes when I get to them, and I'll speak out on what they are. In fact, I've already reviewed what the trap classes are, so if you've seen, I think it's How to Archer, or actually it was How to Arena. If you've seen my How to Arena video, you would already know what the trap classes are. But anyways, the skill floor for assassins, I would say it's more medium tier. It's more medium tier. You can definitely get some good kills. You definitely have, like, grinding, it wouldn't be too hard. You would just have to know your fights. Like, you would have to pick your fights, because in Stonekeep there, I went to some of the more higher tier areas like right away, where when I did that with my archer, I was able to tear through the skeletons quickly. Skeletons and ghouls are supposed to give you trouble, so the archer is actually very powerful and busted when it comes to that, mostly because it's a warrior class. So, honestly, dying to skeletons like that shouldn't be too surprising. At least we were able to kill the rats and wolves. Those are more low tier enemies anyways, so the fact that we can do that with our equipment means that you can at least grind more reasonably, and the skill ceiling is probably more high tier, but not really too high. Like, honestly, with assassins, it doesn't seem like there's much of a gimmick to it. Assassins seem to feel much like just a warrior class with a crutch. Like, you have less health, sure, you have less armaments. Like, it's basically like the barbarian, but instead of having a ton of health and basically no damage, you have a ton of damage and no health. So you basically just have to rush in and kill everything first before it can kill you. You are the embodiment of the best offense. The best defense is a good offense. That's basically it for assassins. So yes, assassins, 7 out of 10. They're pretty decent. I'd give it another shot if I really wanted to. I'd suggest playing this as maybe like a second or third playthrough, because I mean, Assassins can definitely be fun. You know, I actually think I like Assassins a little bit. I might try them again at some point. But anyways, that's going to be it for the rest of this episode. I hope y'all found this video helpful. This has been your bro Frostbrew, and I think I'm going to catch you on the next one. Later!